So my name is Katya, and I've been working here in Bangkok as a marketing manager for one of the international brands, and I've been living in Thailand for about 4 years now. So, well, to start with, I had a major knee injury back in October last year, where I had an accident during wakeboarding where I messed up my knee bad, right? Besides the ACL, tearing an MCL, there was 7 different injuries that happened to my knee. So my goal was to get a knee that can walk normally again. It's a number one purpose, right? And just think about it as a leg and not just this precious little something that I cannot move. And my ultimate goal is doing a one leg squat, right, with the knee. So in terms of what the prior things I did the surgery in it, right? So I had not a standard surgery here. Instead of the ACL, the normal one where they take a piece of your hamstring, they actually restored my ACL with the internal breach. That's one of the few surgeries that they do. I think it's very experimental treatment here, but I decided to give it a shot. And obviously, everything says that the physiotherapy is vital to recovery. So that's why I've chosen you guys. So not really, because I decided to come quite quickly, right? Yeah. So between the injury and the surgery, it was only 1 month time, and because of how bad the injury was, I had to have my leg fixed in 0 degrees, so it was completely straight for almost 6 weeks or something like this. So right after surgery, I only had the range of motion of 10 degrees, right? And all I had as an exercise is laying on the bed and raising it up, right? So sort of thing. I was barely able to walk when I came. And I remember with Kunarm, who is my physiotherapist, when I was just coming, he's like, do you know that when you're walking, you do this with your hip? Instead of just bending your knee, you're kind of throwing it over from your hip area. So I haven't really done much. I knew that the prehab is important, but I just didn't have an opportunity for it because of the way how my operation was done, because it was vital to do it quickly while the ACL stump is still alive. And I had to just go in. And one of the consequences of the approach was the severe muscle atrophy. So because I was with a straight leg and because I basically couldn't move with it for a few weeks, I had almost no range of motion. I think when I came here, we did a test and it was something 35 degrees of bending. And I also my leg was 4 centimeters smaller than the other one, just because of how quickly the muscle went away. So just to give you an example of now, I have a range of motion of the knee better than average man, better than my husband right now.
Why better than me?
Yeah, so it's full, right? You can do whatever you want with it right now. And my muscle atrophy is still there, and I'm not completely pain-free, but I can go down the stairs without a struggle, right? And my muscles are just 1 centimeter smaller compared to a 4 centimeters difference before. Nearly there, getting there.
How do you feel?
Good. I mean, I'm frustrated that I'm not at 100%, but I think there is, again, other factors that play the role, right? Not every single thing in your life can be fixed with the physiotherapy, and I think there's potentially a consideration because of my patella grinding against my joint, right? That there might be another intervention needed, and we'll see about it. But it doesn't impact my everyday life, which is ultimately what the goal was, right? I can work, play with my kids, swim, not so much maybe jump, but not that I need to jump in a daily life as well, but doing the normal day-to-day activities, from carrying my child to, taking my dog for a walk without thinking about, oh, I have a leg that is injured, right? Just leave. So that part I feel good. Now the part of all my athletic aspirations, I think that's still a road to go for sure. Yeah, I think so. I think one of the things that I want to highlight as well is that when you have an injury of this extent, it's a mental struggle, right? Besides just the physical pain, and it's a mental struggle, right? Suddenly you're young and you want to do all of these things, and it feels like there is no progress for the longest time. And I think one of the biggest impact I had with Kunmuk, who was working here before, and Kunarm, working together with them, and the whole team is the emotional support, right? I think that plays a massive role besides the exercises, but just having this positive attitude, people being compassionate and understanding your challenge, not just the physiotherapists who are working with you, but the entire team, right? And I think that's what keeps me going as well in many ways, because coming here I feel good and I look like I'm looking forward to the exercising. And I think that's probably one of the impacts which is, spans beyond just, let's get this knee going, right? I think it's great facility as well, right? So one of the, again, the challenges with the patella that they was grinding against the joint was the fact that I cannot, you can't really grow your quad if you're not using your knee, right? It's a very difficult thing to do, and you cannot use your knee because it hurts so much. So having a swimming pool, which is like a great swimming pool, is massive, right? And obviously having the staff which is willing to, go out of their way to be creative on how to solve the challenge that I have. So I think the facility is also something to highlight. Yeah, sure. So when I just came here, we started from basically manual therapy and ultrasound. I didn't do much of the exercises, right? Like our goal of the first stage was to get the range of motion back, right? Because I just couldn't bend past like 90 degrees and more and more and more. So there was some homework and within this and a little bit of strengthening, but a lot of it was focused in the first few weeks in this. The second stage was starting to get it in a bit more dynamic fashion, right? To start to use walk normally with a normal gait, whatever, so the gait, yeah, never know how to pronounce the word. What I found actually what worked very well for me is that with Kunarm, we had a really good gym approach, and Kunmuk at the time, I think she is very, very talented in the manual therapy, right? So having the two therapists work together and they communicate obviously with each other and they build this program together also helped a lot because they have their different strengths, right? And that will help me. Then, a lot of the first stage, what we were also the swimming pool, where we tried different exercises again to kind of get this muscle response back, because it's super weird. Like you use your muscles for 30 years and then a few weeks and your brain goes like, yeah, I have no idea how the thing moves anymore, right? So just it's the most incredible thing. And so getting over that hump and kind of remembering how physically to move, that's where the swimming pool was very useful as well, because it doesn't hurt, right? And you don't have this mental fear of injuring anything again. And then after that, once the range of motion was there and kind of recovery moved forward, right, we started to work more on the strengthening and growing the muscle and really getting into this dynamic drill. So I think now Kunarm just torturing me in the gym, getting me to jump and run and whatnot, right? Sort of thing to really kind of get to that point. I tell them just keep pushing it, right? And I think it's okay to have some setbacks as well. And I think it's super important to remember it's not a race, it's a marathon. And I really hate this phrase and many people do, but it's really is the fact, right? There is a balance between having that mental strength to keep on pushing forward, but also being kind to yourself, right? You're not gonna get fast results, but you will get results if you just keep on persisting. And it's okay to take a break sometimes, right? But it's important to remember that, it's gonna be long term, and depending on severity of your injury, of course, right? Some people recover very quickly, but if you have an injury of the level that I did, it's probably past 1 year. So having this mental preparedness that this is how long it's going to take is, I think, very important. And the second thing is that definitely get the right support system. Be it your physiotherapist, your family members, your psychological therapist, whoever it is, with whom you can talk through your fears and frustrations is very, very important. Because I feel like a road to recovery is in many ways a mental one first, right? Like with any sport and many things, right? It's the perseverance and resistance to setback which will set you for the success for sure.